My Hero Academia 257. Yeah, it's the beginning of the end. So this chapter we basically get a lot of things actually. Isaiah Sensei is gonna tell us that he's gonna be training Eri soon. All Might may die, even though he's saying, yeah, I'm gonna choose to live. I'm on the side of All Might living. I just think like, you know, ever since just watching the anime, I think even yesterday the episode came out, and so now I die and I'm like, Horikoshi man, like, come on. So yeah, I really want All Might to live. What else? Deku's we find out we find out some of the quirks. Main specifically Shimura Nana's. Now I've got a question. I have no clue how All Might knows which quirk next is gonna manifest. That's kind of interesting. And I feel like All Might, you know, we get a little bit of All Might getting a bit, maybe not insecure, but a bit restless in the sense, what can I do anymore? So I guess that kind of brings forth a bit of, you know, the death flags as well, as if like he's no longer needed. Because think about it, like the way that Deku's not as, the way that Deku approaches All Might's not the same as he used to. Deku's becoming a bit more mature, and you know, taking his training and development into his own hands. So yeah, My Hero Academia 257, like that cliffhanger. I'm so happy that we didn't get that like Christmas time, because that would be like the longest break ever. So we get the end of the chapter, right? And Dr. Ujiko, Dr. Eggman, as we know, strolling through a hospital. Is this another time skip, by the way? Or have we skipped like a month? I'm not sure. But basically it's March now, and I'm not sure where that lines us up. Is this the last month? Is this the third month? The way that the chapter ends as if it's making me believe that we're on the last month, so we'll have to see. But either way, if you guys are forgetting about that, there was 4 months basically. 4 months Shigaraki is, I don't know, getting a new quirk. He's being trained into this perfect specimen. I feel like he's been trained into the perfect Nomu in the sense to be able to take multiple quirks. Like he's not going to become brain dead. Nah. But we don't really know what the doctor's doing to him, but this is the doctor's dreams, basically, what the doctor wants to do, to develop and improve Shigaraki to become the greatest evil. And it's seeming like we are now reaching to that deadline. Now, it's a creepy way of ending the chapter. Basically, Horikoshi says, that the heroes disappeared or vanished from the city, and I'm like, endgame kind of thing. But like, obviously no, Shigaraki didn't click his hands and disintegrate everyone. But what does that even mean? Like, is this implying, okay, the heroes are making them move, as in they're leaving the city because, you know, they got a big, they got that new intel in the sense about the hospital from, you know, Shirakumo, aka Black Mist, Kurogiri. So is that implying that they're making a move, or is that implying the villains made a move and as a result the heroes aren't in the city? I have no clue what's going on, but you know, this chapter, as usual, Horikoshi always gives us those good vibes, you know, everyone coming together, enjoying each other's company, and then like the end of the chapter something happens. So yeah, so I want to go and talk a bit about you know, just All for One and One for All. So One for All, the history of One for All is pretty I don't even know how to explain it or how to describe it, but it's quite quaint. I don't know if that would be the right word to call it, but also kind of tragic in the sense that the previous users of One for All, they haven't always been these big number one great heroes like All Might. You could even argue that All Might was the, not anomaly, but All Might was the one where it was just like the significant one. Like All Might being that user, he changed things, like, you know, he tipped the scales, because All Might was the only, it's the most recent, yeah, All Might was basically the only user that we know of to defeat All for One. We know that everyone else just basically died, like All for One killed everyone else because they weren't strong enough. Now we obviously know that Deku is the strongest, Deku's the strongest current One for All user, obviously, because now that he can even manifest, well, he's got the potential and the ability to manifest 6 quirks. But yeah, so the beginnings of it was more of a survival kind of thing. The way that I knew of One for All, the way that I thought we were told, was more of like, you've got this trusted power, pass it on to the ages kind of thing, and fight evil as it comes. But it was more so like, the people who kept passing down the quirks were basically passing on their deathbeds because they lost. So it was more like, this can't lose, so like, I'm giving it to you. And I like how Horikoshi used that panel. You even see Lariat on the ground, like, dying, and he gives it. So it's it is kind of heroic, and yeah, also tragic, because you were thinking that all of these lives, they did something, but not really. So all they did was basically pass on the quirk, just stockpiling that power. So yeah, it is pretty interesting to think of it like that. And we find out Shimura Nana's quirk, which is float, which is pretty cool. Now it makes you think, okay, what is it gonna be for Deku? Like, Deku's probably gonna be able to fly like Superman, I'm not gonna lie. Shimura Nana also is very, like, she's massive. Like, she's muscular as hell. It's kind of cool that I did like that page that we saw with Shimura Nana and Gran Torino. That was really, really cool seeing that. Yeah, that was cool to see. I really just want this flashback, like Shimura Nana versus All For One. That I really want to see that. But yeah, so I have no clue how All Might knows that's going to be the next quirk to manifest, because it doesn't even make sense within the order, right? I don't know. But yeah, or is wait, Shimura Nana isn't she the 7th? She's the 7th user. And then All Might's the 8th and Deku's the 9th. Or am I wrong? Or is it Shimura Nana's the 6th and All Might's the 7th and Deku's the 8th? I can't remember, but I remember their names mean like the numbers kind of thing. But yeah, so Deku's really gonna get that quirk, and Horikoshi was basically reassuring us, the community, saying like, don't worry, just because Deku will have all these quirks doesn't mean it's gonna be OP. Like, imagine each quirk was like, one was like Todoroki's quirk, another one was like, I don't know, it's like creating lava or something like that. You'd be like, nah, this guy's broken. But it seems more like supporting quirks. Now, I feel like Lariat's way more than a support quirk. Lariat's quirk back in the day probably was support, and the way that he used it is pretty cool. Like, you see him running up buildings and using it as like ropes. It was pretty really cool, and it's like dark energy. But I feel like now, the fact that he can create cars, Deku can do so much with it. Like, once he's mastered it, this guy, it'll be crazy. Like, yeah, it'll be phenomenal. And because he'll have the strength as well to back it up, yeah, he can lift more than cars, in my opinion. Float will be really, really cool as well, because it can be a nice evasion from Shigaraki. Well, we don't really know what Shigaraki's how he's gonna be like now. But, you know, Shigaraki's quirk became like, it even developed from not just whatever he touched, but his vicinity. So Deku could probably like fly away now, but it's gonna kind of make him twin with Uraraka. Now, this is the massive elephant in the room. Like, this big question we have to ask. When Deku gets these quirks, like, how's he gonna explain himself? What's it called? What's the quirk called? Lariat's quirk, the thing, that was a stretch. I'm not gonna lie. That was the biggest stretch, and I can't believe people bought it. But like, what, when Deku's gonna be able to fly, or let's say there's, I don't know, we don't know any of the other quirks, but let's say one of the other All For One users, One For All users have like an ability to like become invisible. Like, what's Deku gonna say? Yeah, you know, I just trained really hard and I just had a different application of how I can use my super strength and speed. Like, I'm just thinking realistically. And also, either I missed a page or the spoilers, I don't know, because a lot of people had spoilers. And people were saying that some of the quirks were like, because I don't think in this chapter we got all the quirks, right? So, because from the spoilers, people were saying quirks of like, one of them was to able to perceive people or like read people's minds and stuff like that. I have no clue where that came from. Because I definitely didn't see that in this chapter. Definitely didn't. Maybe I'm wrong, but I don't think I did. So I don't know, maybe that's for like next chapter. But what we got was Shimura Nana's and Lariat's. But yeah, basically that was the chapter. It was a really nice, cool chapter. We're probably gonna find out. Oh yeah, the fact that Isaiah Sensei says that he's training Eri. I really like how Okoshi's kind of matching it up, because obviously this is what we're doing in the anime. Yes, I'm just willing to think, yeah, that means Mirio's getting his quirk back. And theoretically, if Isaiah Sensei can train Eri, doesn't that mean Eri can technically rewind All Might? I don't know. That's so intriguing to. Like, can Eri remind All Might to the point where the embers come back and All Might can still use One For All? That would be really, really intriguing to see, I'm not gonna lie. but I doubt it. But yeah, or at least like the damage, because when Eri was obviously like rewinding all the damage when Deku was on 100%. But yeah, we'll have to see either way. Guys, please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. What do you think the doctor's planning? Like, he was going through one of his hospitals, so like, who knows what he's gonna do? Is he gonna take more patients? Where's Shigaraki? Shigaraki, like, yeah, we need to find out about that as well. And the fact that All Might was gonna visit Stain is so intriguing. I feel like that means, because Stain wasn't really a villain, he was more an anti-hero, and Stain loved All Might. Stain was like, the only guy that can kill me is All Might, kind of thing. So who knows, maybe like All Might can sway Stain to their side of heroes. That would be really, really cool. Stain's got a big following in the community. But yeah, guys, that's enough for me. Please tell me your thoughts in the comments below. I'll see you next week for like greatness. That is 258. Yeah, what do you think is gonna happen this next week? Because I think it's crazy. I think we're really getting into this next arc, like the end. But anyway, peace out, guys. Goodbye.